Okay, here's January 2015, number 33. And I believe we did this in class, but I'm going to go ahead and solve the equation anyways. 33 says, Jacob and Zachary go to the movie theater and purchase refreshments for their friends. Jacob spends a total of $18.25 on 2 bags of popcorn and 3 drinks, and Zach spends a total of $27.50 for 4 bags of popcorn and 2 drinks. Write a system of equations that can be used to find the price of 1 bag of popcorn and the price of 1 drink. So what you should start with are your let statements. So I chose let X equal the price of popcorn, I'm just going to abbreviate, and let Y equal the price of 1 drink. If you don't have let statements, you won't know what you're solving for. So you need let statements. Be careful with that. Okay, now we need our equations. So, starting with Jacob. Jacob spends a total of $18.25, and he spends it on 2 bags of popcorn, so 2x, plus he gets 3 drinks, 3y, and again, his total is $18.25. So remember, with these equations, when you're dealing with money, it's always, always, always cost times quantity equals your total. So Zach spends a total of $27.50, and he buys 4 bags of popcorn, so we have 4x, plus he buys 2 drinks, 2y, equals his total of $27.50. Okay, so that's all you have to do for the first part. Now for the bottom, it says, using these equations, determine and state the price of a bag of popcorn and the price of a drink to the nearest cent. Okay, so what you're going to want to do here is solve by elimination. That would be the quickest method to find your answer. And so what I would suggest doing is I would multiply this top equation by -2. The reason I'm going to do that is so that my x's will cancel and I'm just left with finding y. So when I multiply the top equation by -2, I will end up with -4x minus 6y equals a -3650.5. The bottom equation does not change. In this case, it won't change, so 4x plus 2y equals 2750. And when you're solving by elimination, you're going to add the 2 equations together. The x's will cancel. When you add the y's, you'll end up with a -4y equals a -9. Then you're going to want to divide by -4 to get y alone. And your y is going to equal 2.25. And this is the price of 1 drink. Now, we're not done. We need to find x. So in order to find x, I'm going to plug it back into the equation. And I'm just going to use this first equation here. Okay, so I know my y value is 225, so now I'm just going to substitute 225 in for y. So I will have 2x plus 3 times 225. So I'm replacing my y with 225 equals 1825. And now I just have to solve for x. So I'm going to multiply the 3 by the 225, and I'm going to end up with 675 equals 1825. So now I'm going to subtract 675 from both sides to get my x alone. I will end up with 2x equals 1150. Divide by 2. Running out of room, but x should equal 575. Okay, so I know that's hard to read, but I ended up with the price of popcorn is $5.75 and the price of a drink is $2.25. Number 34. The graph of an inequality is shown below. Write the inequality represented by the graph. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is the y-intercept. My b value in this case is -3. That's where it crosses the y-axis. Now I'm going to find my slope. So if I look at this point and then I look at the next easiest point, looks like here and here. So we're going up 2, or rising 2 and running 1. So my slope is 2. 2 over 1, which just simplifies to 2. Okay, and now because it's an inequality, I have to figure out, is it greater than, is it less than, is it greater than or equal to, or is it less than or equal to? Since it's a solid line, it's either going to be a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Because it's shading above, it has to be greater than or equal to. So my equation for part A has to be y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 3. Part B says on the same set of axes, graph the inequality x plus 2y is less than 4. So I can't graph this quite yet until y is alone. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and I'm left with 2y is less than -x plus 4. And then I'm going to divide every term by 2 to get y alone. And I'll end up with y is less than -1/2 x plus 2. So to graph that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at my y-intercept of 2, right here, and I'm going to have a negative slope, so I'm going to go down 1 and to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2, okay, or I could rise 1 in a positive direction, but then I have to go negative, so I have to go to the left 2 over here. Okay, so with this graph, because it's a less than, and it doesn't have the equal to sign underneath, it has to be a dotted line. Okay, so this is my dotted line, and because it's less than, it's smaller than, so it must be shading below. Okay. The two inequalities graphed on the same set of axes form a system. Oscar thinks that point 2, 1 is in the solution set for this system of inequalities. Remember, your solution set is where the two graphs, the both shading occurs, so where the shading overlaps. Determine and state whether you agree with Oscar and explain your reasoning. Okay, so let's find the point 2, 1. Well, 2, 1 is right here, but even though it's on the line, right, it's actually kind of like the intersection point between these two graphs, Oscar would not be right. So, no, 2, 1 is not in our solution set because it is not a solution for y less than -1/2 x plus 2. The reason it's not in that solution set is because it's a dotted line. It's not equal to, it's less than that. So it can't be on the dotted line and still be in the solution set. Okay? And if I had more room, I would give a better explanation. 35. A nutritionist collected information about different brands of beef hot dogs. She made a table showing the number of calories and the amount of sodium in each hot dog. Write the correlation coefficient for the line of best fit and round your answer to the nearest hundredth. So, correlation coefficient is your R value, and in order to find that, what you need to do is type in list 1 and list 2 on your graphing calculator. And remember, this is statistics, so you need to hit the stat key in order to type in these two lists. Okay, once you have these typed in, what you're going to do is you're going to again hit stat, okay, but you're going to now scroll over to calc, okay, because you're going to calculate, and let's sloppy. Let's do that again. So scroll over to Calc. It's better. And you're going to choose choice 4, which says Lin regression. And then I believe it says parentheses AX plus B. Okay. And then when you type that in, when you hit 4, you have to then do L1 comma L2. Okay, to get to the L1, you're going to hit second 1. Okay, that's how you get L1. And to type in L2, you'll hit second 2. That's how you get L2. And the comma is above the 7 on your graphing calculator. Okay, so the reason I know that it's linear regression is because we're finding the line of best fit, and this is a linear relationship. So your R value, when you look at these numbers, R value should be the last number, I believe, on the list, and your R value to the nearest hundredth is going to be 0.94 to the nearest hundredth. So that's all they're asking for the first part. Okay. Part B says explain what the correlation coefficient suggests in the context of this problem. So, in the context of this problem, it's saying, what does it mean in regards to hot dogs and the calories? Okay? So, what you would say in part B is that there is a strong positive correlation between, now we're going to be specific, between calories and sodium in beef hot dogs. So the reason I know it's strong is because it's close to 1. It's positive because it's a positive value, okay? And that's how we know that it's a strong positive correlation.